Welcome back to the Big Leagues podcast, episode 6. Going to do a little NBA season preview. I'm David. I got my co-host Isaac, and we brought in our buddy Tate here to talk some ball, just like back in the day. Welcome to
I
the
feel
show,
like I'm
Tate.
I feel like I'm back in French class.
Yeah, back in middle school here. All right, we'll jump right into the MVP. We'll start off. Isaac, who's your pick for MVP this year?
This year, my number one MVP pick, I'd say, would be Luka Doncic. I think he's been putting up great stats. 38-8 last year. I think the Mavs are going to really have to rely on him and Kyrie because the rest of the roster is pretty bad, and I think he'll carry them to the playoffs, averaging a very good stat line. So I'd say he's probably my MVP favorite.
What about you, Tate?
I'm agreeing with Isaac here. I also have Luka for MVP. Just the way the roster is constructed, I could see Luka just having a field day. He has the green light to do basically everything he wants for the team.
Mhm.
And I can see him having like a 2018-19 Harden season where he's just, like 36 across the board. He's going to carry the team to the playoffs. I know they missed it last year, but I think Luka's just going to go crazy and pull out the MVP award.
Yeah, Luka was my preseason pick last year. He started off the season going crazy, but then he kind of fell off a bit. Um, I think I'm going Giannis this year, honestly. I find the MVP, there's some pretty like tight criteria that they follow. You got to be like a top seed, got to play 70 games, and you got to put up big numbers. And I don't know, the West is really tough this year. I think it'll be tough for the Mavericks to get a really high seed where the Bucks, assuming health, they're like pretty locked into a top three seed. Another kind of like, I guess we could bring up some sleeper candidates too. I think Tatum honestly could have a decent chance. I also think the Celtics will be a top three seed in the East, and he has a chance to put up some big numbers. You guys got any other kind of candidates to keep an eye on?
Um, I had Giannis as my runner up for the picks, but I think one you guys probably won't agree with. I think AD could potentially be an MVP candidate. I think he basically carries that whole Lakers defense, and I see LeBron maybe taking a step back and giving AD the majority of the offense, and maybe him averaging 28 and one of the best defense players in the league could get him in the conversation.
I don't even disagree with that much. It's just we haven't quite seen the offense from AD that we've seen back in the past the last few years, and it's just whether or not he can play the games. What do you think, Tate?
Yeah, like David said, you got to play at least 70 games, and with AD's health record, it's not going to happen. My runner-up is obviously Jokic. I think he might go back to back. Just, they came from the finals. He's going to keep showing his dominance and proving like he's the best player in the world. Going back to my Luka pick, I actually think he's one of the more runner-ups for the MVP award. I think he's going to have a similar season to where Westbrook won MVP, averaging a triple-double. They finished, I think it was like the 6th or 7th seed, and it was the first time in a while where we saw the MVP in such a lower seed, because I remember James Harden was also having a crazy season, and he got snubbed of it. So
Yeah, it is possible for sure, but I think typically they do give it to the top seeds. Another a long shot I got for you is Zion at plus 4,000. I know we were talking about you have to play 70 games, and that doesn't seem to be the case with Zion, but I don't know. I got a feeling Zion is going to be healthier this year, and if he's healthy, I think he's going to put up big numbers. He's definitely like a long shot candidate to keep your eye on. I know you probably agree with that, Isaac.
Yeah, well, Zion guy, and I think like when he's healthy, I think he's like already a top 10 player in the world. So I think if he just stayed healthy for a whole year, he definitely could be an MVP candidate. And he had the Pelicans as like a 1 seed when he went down this year.
They were dominant.
Yeah, they got a good team.
yeah, my dark horse is SGA.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think if
good one.
OKC can, show that their young core can win some basketball games, and Shea has a season like he did last year, averaging around 30 points, we could see the first guard win MVP in a while.
Yeah. Uh, Isaac, you got a pick for defensive player of the year?
I'd say my current favorite. It was tough. I'd say my current favorite is probably Bam Adebayo. I think he's been in the top 3 running now the last 2 years. I think he really anchors Miami's defense, which is one of the best in the league. So I think he'll definitely be in the running again. Another guy I was thinking about was also Anthony Davis, who I think's probably the best or second best defender in the world. So those would kind of be my 2 favorites right now.
Tate?
I was trying to find like someone who could sneak in for DPOY, but I honestly think it's going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. again. With the Memphis defense is elite since they added Marcus Smart. That's back. Those are the last 2 DPOYs on the team right now. So with that combined defensive play that they have, I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. will shine even more than he did last year.
Yeah. I think I'm taking Evan Mobley on this one.
Wow.
Young player. I think he's still got a lot of room for improvement, and I'm really hoping to see him take a jump this year. Uh, one thing for them is I wouldn't mind seeing them move on from Jared Allen and make a bit of a basketball trade to fit a better team need and kind of let Mobley take over that sole responsibility of the 5. I think that'll help them on defense and offense, honestly, too. But yeah, I think Mobley's just such an elite defender. I think he's bound to be a perennial candidate for that award.
I like that trade idea. I think that too. The Cavs team, you got 2 small guards and 2 big men who aren't the best shooters. I feel like moving on from Jared Allen for another just wing would be
Yeah,
great for them.
be helpful. All right. And what are we thinking here? We'll go through our top 10 seeds for each conference. So the top 6 go automatically to the playoffs, and 7 through 10 go to the play-in. So we'll start off with the Eastern Conference. Uh, give me the kind of the quick rundown of your seedings, Isaac, and then go in depth more after.
Okay, 1 seed I got the Bucks, 2 Celtics, 3 Sixers, 4 Heat, 5 Cavs, 6 Hawks, 7 Pacers, 8 Raptors, 9 Knicks, and 10 Nets.
Okay, so one that jumps off to me real quick is Knicks at 9. You want to break down that pick for me?
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Knicks team. I think Julius Randle is going to have some regression from last year, even though I think Jalen Brunson is a all-star kind of caliber guy. I think the Pacers will be sneaky good this year, and I think the Raptors are a solid team, and I think the Knicks are going to be around a 500 team for me.
Okay. I think personally, I think 9's a bit low.
Yeah.
I think I'll take the Celtics at the 1 seed, Bucks at 2, Cavs at 3, Sixers at 4, Knicks at 5, Hawks at 6, Heat at 7, Pacers at 8, Bulls at 9, and Magic at 10. So I'm a Raptors fan. I don't got them in playing this year. I know you had them, Isaac. I think they definitely have blow up potential. They could trade Siakam and possibly OG. As a fan, I honestly wouldn't hate that to kind of pick a direction, all in or all out. And unless they get like a superstar, they're not going to be able to win a championship. So you may as well try to start a new regime. You want to give us your picks, Tate?
All right. At 1 seed, I have Milwaukee, and then we have Boston, Cleveland in the 3. I have the Sixers in the 4 seed, Knicks in 5. I have Orlando in the 6 seed. I have the Nets in 7. I have Miami in the 8th seed. I have the Pacers in the 9th seed, and then I have the Bulls in the 10th seed.
Okay. I thought I was high on the Magic, giving them the 10, but you don't even got them in the play, and you got them straight to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're going to make one of the biggest leaps out of all the rebuilding teams. I think Paulo and Franz Wagner are going to ball out, and it's time for one of their point guards to shine. I feel like one of their plethora of guards, young guards, is going to take that next step and really help facilitate the offense. They have good veterans too. They got Joe Ingles, they got Gary Harris, they got guys who can lead the team, like in the locker room per se.
Mhm.
Um, and this is also a controversial opinion. I think with all their young guards, they could make a move for James Harden. I feel like they actually have a lot of assets where they can pick up James Harden and then he can come in and, he led the league in assists last year, help the young guys. Fuck, I don't know.
I
They
actually,
could go far.
I actually like that a lot. I don't think Orlando's a team that's. I haven't heard too much noise about Harden to them, but I think that would definitely be a decent move for them. Like the East isn't as good as the West, and like they could. I think if they got Harden, they could be like. I don't think six seed would be unreasonable, honestly. And I think Paolo's going to take a jump this year too. I'm big on him. I think he's really good.
Yeah. And Wendell Carter too. He's been
Yeah,
one of the most
he's good.
underrated big men in the league.
And Isaac, did you Tate? You said you had Bucks at one. Did you have Celtics or Bucks at one?
I
Bucks.
had the Bucks at one. I had Celtics at two.
You said the Bucks, Isaac.
Yeah, I said the Bucks.
Yeah. I honestly think the Celtics will be the one seed. Um, we'll get to finals picks later, so I'm not necessarily saying they're the best team in the East, but I think they'll be the one seed. I just think they have more depth, and I think they'll do better in the regular season. Why do you guys think Bucks will be one seed?
I just think Dame and Giannis is like I'd say the best duo in the league right now, and I think that's going to be the Bucks or the one seed last year, and I think they got better. Even though I like the Celtics, I just prefer Milwaukee.
Does
To
does the depth concern you at all?
It does a little, but I just think that their elite starting lineup will make the difference and kind of carry that weaker bench.
Yeah, and
Their their depth's all not that bad. Bench role, more minutes available.
where did you guys have the Hawks?
I had the Hawks to the 6th seed.
I don't have the Hawks making anything.
Don't have them making it. Wow. Okay. Why do you think
Yeah,
that?
I just I feel like I've seen the same team for so long. And then you put on Collins for nothing.
I think
Unless
that's
some of
addition by
their
subtraction,
guys,
personally.
yes, no, because they have just Clint Capella down in the front court. Um, Unless you want to rely on Aneka Okomu, I just don't see Trey Young and DeJounte Murray making it that far.
Yeah. I I kind of think the Hawks could be a team to keep an eye on this year, especially in the like maybe not playoffs, but for regular season. They brought in Quinn Snyder as their coach, and he's performed really well in the regular season. Uh, I think getting rid of John Collins is honestly addition by subtraction. Let some of their younger players get more minutes, and I think they'll be a good team in the regular season this year. Any other teams you guys want to touch on?
You
What'd
guys
you
had the
guys say
Heat.
about Miami?
Yeah, you guys both had them pretty low.
Uh, for me, I just so they lost Gabe Vincent, they lost
Bruce.
Max Struess, and I don't think they really care about the regular season that much, and they're relying on a lot of old players.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling up.
Yeah, age is gonna get to them for sure. And when you're
Like
replacing Gabe and Masters with Josh Richardson and Thomas Bryant, that's not a bonus. It's not good.
Yeah, like Jimmy's 34, and they're also relying a lot on Kevin Love, who's 35, and Kyle Lowry, who's 37. I don't know how much they're gonna play. Like, I feel like they could be battling injuries due to their old age. But I think if we were talking about like a 7-game series in the playoffs, I think they would definitely be higher for me in that scenario. But just in terms of regular season seeding, I don't know. They were a playoff play-in team last year as well, so I have them. I had them at the 7 seed, so I think it's definitely possible if they're in the play-in again. Moving on to the West, I'll start us off. The West I found extremely difficult to pick. I'm not confident in a single one of these picks. Like, I don't even. Yeah, it was really. I found it so tough. Um, I got the Nuggets as the 1 seed. I got the Lakers as the 2 seed. The Pelicans as the 3 seed. The Kings as the 4 seed. Suns at 4, or sorry, at 5. Warriors at 6. Mavericks at 7. Thunder at 8. Clippers at 9. And Grizzlies at 10.
Wow. Jeez. 10. That's crazy. All right, I'll go through mine then. I got Nuggets at 1, Suns at 2, Lakers at 3, Clippers at 4, Pelicans at 5, Warriors at 6, Grizzlies at 7, Mavs at 8, Kings at 9, and Rockets at 10.
Of course.
Get out
Of
of here.
course. You would too, wouldn't you?
Bro, the Rockets are gonna be good this year.
The
They got a solid team.
Rockets.
They're better than the Thunder.
That's
Oh my
crazy that
God.
I have the Lakers above you. After
Yeah.
all the debates we've had, as you pro Lakers and me anti Lakers.
No, but LeBron's gonna have a regular season. He just wants the chip.
All right, what's your seed and Tate?
Okay, so I have the Suns at 1. I have the Nuggets at 2. I have the Kings in 3 again. I have OKC as the 4 seed. I have Memphis as the 5 seed. I have the Clippers as the 6th. Lakers as the 7th. Minnesota as the 8th. Dallas at the 9th. And then I have Portland at the 10th.
What? Portland at 10?
Yep.
I thought Rockets at 10 was a gross take.
Wait, did you have this at all?
No, I had Memphis is at 5,
Oh, Memphis at 5.
but I don't have Golden State.
Did you have the Pelicans?
No, I don't have Pelicans.
Tate, explain to us why you have Portland at 10.
Portland is the Western Conference version of the Nets. They have a team that's full of like youngish role player guys. I think Anthony Simons is gonna blow up. He has the green light. As much as people want to believe it's Scoot's team, I think it's Simons' team. And we've seen how good he was without Dame or CJ McCollum when they were both injured at that time. I think DeAndre Ayton's finally has a place where he can show his true potential. And they're surrounded by guys like you got Robert Williams off the bench. You got Shaden Sharp, who could take a step forward. Jeremy Grant, who's an 18-point per game scorer, as well as Malcolm Brogdon, who won 6th Man of the Year last year. They have depth. They have guys who are capable to win basketball games. And in the West, I could see them just being like, they could sneak their way into the 10th seed.
Okay, so coming into this exercise, I had 11 teams that I could have ordered in practically any way, and I wouldn't argue it. And somehow both of you managed to come in with a surprise team off the top ropes. Isaac, you got any comments on that pick by Tate?
Like I don't know how you have them like I think the Trailblazers could be like sneaky good, but I just think to have them over the Warriors and Pelicans, like I think those are two really good teams.
Well, last year, the 9th seed to the 4th seed were all 3 games apart. And I think it's going to be even closer this year. So just because I have Portland in the 10th seed and I don't have Golden State or the Pelicans, I feel like they could still be like a half game behind or like a game behind. Like it's that competitive. I just feel like Portland can sneak it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Portland won't be a top 11 team personally. I think
Wait, you had the Pelicans pretty high, David, didn't you?
I did. So I mentioned this in the MVP discussion. I think this is the year for Zion. I don't feel great about it. He's hasn't given me anything to really believe that that's possible, but for some reason I just think he has a year. And when he was playing and they were clicking, I think they're like the 1 seed, weren't they, Isaac?
Yeah, they're 1 seed for like a little bit of time, but like 25 games into the season, they were the 1 seed.
They were just firing on all cylinders. They were a juggernaut team, and I mean they got Brandon Ingram, they got CJ McCollum, they got a lot of depth. I just think they got a good team, and I don't think like as you mentioned, Tate, how last year the West was so close. I think it's going to be parallel to that again. I don't think any team is going to be miles above any other team in the West. I think it's all going to be within a game or two. Another controversial take that I had would be I'd say Grizzlies at 10. I know you guys both had them higher. Mm-hmm. I just think like 25 games without Ja, I think it's going to be tough, especially in this conference. And I don't know. I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about any of them, but I just think,
sure
I don't know.
Last season when Ja was injured, they had a better record than they did with him.
I think that, yeah, that checks out. I remember seeing that they actually did have a pretty good record without him, but I don't know how much I really want to play into that.
I don't know how they can go from the 2 seed to the 10 seed when adding guys like Marcus Smart and.
Yeah, well, I just think those 25 games without Ja, like how they're really gonna function offensively down the stretch of close games.
Well, they played last year. They always played through like Desmond Bane, and I think Desmond Bane's actually a really underrated player. So I think
that's good.
And like they brought in, like Tate said, Marcus Smart. So I think that combination of Marcus Smart and JJJ and some of their wing players, like I think they're gonna have like a top tier defense, and I think they'll still be solid without Ja. And then when Ja comes back, they'll turn into like a top 5 team. I'd say probably.
Yeah. I mean, if at the end of the year I'm looking at the standings and the Grizzlies are the 2 seed, I wouldn't be shocked. Just I don't know. I don't think the standings are gonna play out the exact same. So Isaac, you had Rockets at 10. It would be incorrect of us not to mention that you're a Rockets fan. So give us the.
Well, here's the thing. I think Jalen Green's gonna score 25 a game this year. Like last year, he was 22.9. So it's not even a big leap, not even a huge leap. And I think Jabari Smith is gonna break out. I think he started to show flashes towards the end, and I really like that we brought in Ime Udoka. I think we really needed like a culture change.
Agreed.
We brought in like 2 of the best. I think we had the best draft. Bringing in Amen and Whitmore.
Agreed.
So I think we got good depth, and then a starting lineup of Fred, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and then Jabari and Sengun. I think that's a pretty well-rounded starting 5. So I think we'll just be a solid team.
Yeah. Me personally, I like a lot of the Rockets' young players. Like I think Ime Udoka is going to be big for that team, but I just think there's 11 teams that are just clear cut better than them. So,
yeah, I like the Rockets' future, and I also have Sengun winning Most Improved. I think he's going to take a big step.
Yeah. What do you guys got for your final matchups?
So me, I had the Celtics as my 1 seed, but I think in the playoffs when rotations shorten, I think that Dame and Giannis are going to be too much for the Celtics to handle, and I think they come out of the East, and then again, so many good teams in the West, but I think I just got to go Nuggets. They earned my respect last year, and I don't see why they won't be just as good as they were last year.
What do you got? What do you got, Tate?
I also have Milwaukee and Denver. I think it'll be a much better finals compared to last year. I honestly thought Bam Adebayo would be the answer to Jokic, but Jokic proved to everyone that he is unguardable.
There's no answer.
So I would love to see a 7-game series of Giannis on Jokic. I think it would be incredible basketball, and I don't know who would come out on top.
Yeah.
I also have Milwaukee coming out of the East, but I think you guys should be able to guess who I got coming out of the West.
Show the shirt. Yeah.
Last year, I think last year they were the second best team. You know, the Nuggets I know the Nuggets swept them, but I think the series is a lot closer than the scoreboard said. I think every game was pretty close. And I think the Lakers had the best offseason of anyone, bringing in like a lot of good role players and Gabe Vincent, Christian Wood. I like what Austin Reeves and Rui were doing in the playoffs last year a lot. So I think they finally built like a good core around LeBron and AD. And last year they got close, and this year I think Denver lost Bruce Brown, and their bench isn't really all of that. So I think the Lakers will, get the best of them. What do you guys think of
that? Number one, injuries for the Lakers can't be trusted. And I also think I always see their bench signings and all that, and I think it's deja vu. Because I remember when they did bring in guys like Lonnie Walker and all those guys a few seasons ago, people were like, oh my God, these young guys are going to get the chance. And they were just as equally trash.
They did know it.
So, yeah, I mean, Christian Wood is going to be good off the bench for sure. And Gabe Vincent. But
I honestly push back on that. I don't think Christian Wood matters at all for them on that signing. I don't think he can defend. I don't think he can defend at all. And I personally think Christian Wood's severely overrated.
I think they turn 5 and throw 80 at the 4 and play big. I think they've run that lineup a few times in preseason already, and
I have zero faith in Christian Wood in the playoffs.
Christian Wood can stretch the floor though, and he's like a really good he's a buff. He can score really well, and he can also protect the rim. He's not a great defender, but
yeah, I believe he would be a good beside Anthony Davis if Anthony Davis keeps his defensive dominance going, but you can't rely on Christian Wood at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even I know I give you a lot of shit for always picking the Lakers, but to be honest, I don't even hate that pick at this point in time. Just the thing with the Lakers, health is just such a big question. Every year we progress, LeBron becomes a bigger question mark for how he's going to hold up. I don't think he can't maintain the dominance he could when he was making those finals runs with the Cavs. It's a lot shorter stretches of dominance for him, and he has to rely a lot more on AD and Reeves. I'm a big Reeves guy, but
I think Austin Reeves is the most overrated player beside Wembanyama.
You don't think did you have Wemby winning Rookie of the Year? You don't think he'll be good?
I think the NBA's narrative, I think he's already unanimously Rookie of the Year, but I believe Chet should win Rookie of the Year just because.
Well, we haven't played any games yet here, Tate.
Doesn't matter. Have you seen the NBA's Instagram?
Oh well, yeah. Get ready for a lot more of that.
Yeah, they're just milking him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wins it. I think no one would be. But if we're going off like records and actual like what's the word? Like I see Chet joining the OKC as a much bigger bonus than like when Benyama on the Spurs. The Spurs are going to be the 15 seed. OKC might have a chance to become like a top 5 seed, and I think that's going to be because of Chet Holmgren. They didn't really have that true center last season, and now you have a shot blocking 6'3" or 7'3" prospect who's going to come in and dominate. He should win Rookie of the Year.
I don't necessarily disagree with anything you said. It's just I don't know if that's necessarily like what the award is. I mean, we haven't played a single game yet, so we can't necessarily say who should win. It's going to come down to how the game's played out. But I think if Wembanyama has like a good statistical season, I even could see Scoot Henderson having a Rookie of the Year type season.
I had Scoot runner up after Victor. I think Scoot's a dog. I think Scoot's going to be on.
I'm high on Scoot. I don't know. Scoot Henderson should have been drafted over Brandon Miller, in my opinion. I think that's going to go down as an all-time bad mistake. I think Brandon Miller's going to be a bust.
Yep, I agree.
I think that's a good take too. I don't know how they came to that by draft day.
I guess it's because they have LaMelo, but if you got a chance to draft a player like Scoot Henderson, I don't think you can look at fit like that. Like, look at the Cavs when they had Colin Sexton, and it was a big deal that they drafted Darius Garland, but then Darius Garland ended up being way better than Sexton, so they just got rid of Sexton. I think that's the way you got to be, especially when you're Charlotte Hornets and you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
You guys got any other teams that you guys want to talk on? I know the Suns are a big hot team. We could talk about that real quick. Tate, you had them.
I had them at 1.
At 1, yeah.
From a regular season standpoint, I believe their offense will get them the wins, and they will end out in the first seed in the Western Conference solely off of their offense. Come playoff time, we might see the holes in their no defensive team, but regular season, I don't think any other team will have as many wins as them.
Yeah, honestly, looking at my rankings, the Suns might be a bit low. Like I am big on the Suns, but the one thing with the Suns is the injury concerns, because if Durant misses significant time, if Beal misses significant time, now you're kind of like getting some short pickings. And I did like a lot, like some of their pickups, like around like Eric Gordon, I think could be a big piece for them. And even they made a few other little like fringe moves, like Yuta Watanabe and just some guys like that, like some not necessarily star guys or anything, but guys to fill out a rotation that can give you a couple minutes in a regular season game and play some defense and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Grayson Allen and Josh Okogie will help on the defensive end, but that's, I don't know.
Yeah. Any Suns takes, Isaac?
I think they're, for me, I had them as the 2 seed. I think they're a pretty good team, but personally, I don't really love the fit of Booker, Beal, and KD. Like, I think they don't really have like a real point guard, and I didn't like them trading Ayton for Nurkic. I think that's a downgrade. Like, I don't know why they wanted to get rid of Ayton so bad, but I think they'll still be good. But I don't see them winning a championship personally.
I actually do like the trade. I think Ayton had too big of an ego for the Suns, especially bringing in Bradley Beal. It was a good idea for them to move on from him because now he's the 4th option. That's not what he wants. He'll bitch and moan like he always does. You bring in a guy like Nurkic, who's used to being like that 3rd, 4th option back in Portland, and he'll play his role good. That's all you need.
Yeah. I don't like moving Ayton isn't what upsets me. It's more bringing in Nurkic. I'm not big on Nurkic. He doesn't play. and he's slow and can't defend. I just don't think that's what they need for their team. And
Yeah, if they could have gotten,
Like,
who was the
like,
three-team trade with?
I think Miles Turner could have been a better fit for sure.
I don't know if they could have got him though.
You don't think the
The Pacers were really in on Ayton, I think, weren't they?
they signed Ayton and then
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, if they could have got Miles Turner, that was a really bad move if they missed out on him, in my opinion. And then what's your guys' outlook on the Warriors this year?
I'm glad to see the Warriors dynasty over finally. Like it ain't their year. They're done. They're done winning championships with this core. I don't think CP0 rings is what they needed, and I think their bench definitely took a hit. Like it ain't their dynasty benches. Like they got rid of DiVincenzo, Poole, a lot of their good role players from last year, and I don't think they brought in many valuable players. So I don't think they'll be as good as they were last.
I think they're counting on jumps from Moody and Kuminga.
Mm-hmm. When you look at the Warriors, anything can happen. It's the Warriors. I don't have them in my top 10 seeds, but they could easily be in the 4th or 5th, just depending on how they play, injuries and whatnot, especially those role player guys like Moody and Kuminga. If they don't step up, they do not have a bench. Chris Paul is old. It could go one or two ways.
Yeah. I don't really see the Warriors winning the title either myself. I can see them definitely being a playoff team, obviously, but I think winning the title is a bit too lofty of expectations. Yeah. Any other teams or anything else you guys want to touch on for this upcoming season?
With Tate, what's your thoughts on Harden going to the Clippers if that move ends up happening?
Yeah, because you're a Clippers fan, Tate, so give us your take.
Oh, boy. It's a love-hate. If the Clippers were anywhere else than Los Angeles, I think it'd be good. But we don't need James Harden in those LA clubs. It's not going to be good. But in reality, he led the league in assists last year. He would be a great point guard beside Russell Westbrook. I think it would be a good fit. Is it the championship move? It's debatable, but you can't really complain about James Harden.
I saw that the Clippers wouldn't even do 2 firsts and Trey Mann today for Harden, and I thought that was pretty shocking. Like they weren't Trey Mann.
We don't have draft capital, so those picks for us are pretty valuable. Like we traded them all away for Paul George, but Trey Mann, I would get rid of him. I don't like him that much. I like Kenyon Martin Jr. that we just brought in more than Trey Mann.
That was a really good bring-in from my Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
I think, the issue with the Clippers giving those picks is that Paul George and Kawhi, I think, their deals are coming up fairly soon. So if they're gone, there could be some dark days for the Clippers, especially with their lack of picks.
I know.
And the other thing too is that who are the Clippers really bidding against? I think they can kind of be really tough in those negotiations because there's not really any other suitors out there from what I can tell.
It's not even suitors. James Harden is literally whining, like, why am I not a Clipper yet?
Yeah. Just I think around the league, there's not too many teams that are excited to bring him into their group.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap up the episode there. Thanks for joining us, Tate. It was good to talk some ball again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Looking forward to the season.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.